Welcome back, guys, to the Beyond Condition podcast, the voice of bodybuilding. I'm your host, Sarah Parker, and we are here for the famous conversation I had. Now, you'll tell by the title, and if you listen, if you know me, you know that this subject for sure is such a big topic that I cover, and it's something I'm very, very passionate about. When we look at who inspires us, and essentially, guys, is it inspiration or is it comparison? And that is what I want to set the tone with today. Because for sure, we are absolutely inundated with phenomenal physiques all around us, whether that be on social media, in the gym, when you go and watch a show, all of these different places that we find ourselves viewing others' physiques can absolutely take away from or add to your journey. Now, the conversation I had was with my chiropractor slash physio that I've mentioned before. And we were talking about my own bodybuilding and essentially, what my aspirations are. And he said, so for most guys, I'd imagine they want to look like someone like Sebum. Who inspires you? Who do you want to look like? And I was like, do you know what, Mason? Honestly, hand on heart, I compare myself to myself and I want to look better, do better, and continue evolving on this path. And that comes from a psychological standpoint as well. And I'm also going to give credit to Pat Warner, who is someone that has influenced my life as a bodybuilder and a person. And if you follow me on social media, you will see that Pat actually passed. And it was a hard bit of news to take. But what I realize is that Pat will live on within me. He absolutely will. And he was a man of so much wisdom. And when it comes to physiques, when it comes to bodybuilding, he stepped on stage with some of the greats that you guys will know. He absolutely is an OG of the bodybuilding world. And he always said, I just want to look better every time I step on stage. I want to do better for me. And what a nice sentiment to bring into this episode because he will live on within me and with anyone that knew Pat. And he was so invested in his own journey. And that rubs off, guys. And that's why I want to talk about it today. Because for sure, when we get into bodybuilding, we can absolutely find ourselves comparing to others or perhaps being inspired, but not really understanding the gravitas behind actually the bigger picture when it comes to the bodybuilding space. And it's important to be realistic with your aspirations because I certainly know from my own journey that early on, I didn't know about natural and assisted athletes there being a difference. I didn't know about steroid use, didn't really understand genetics, didn't understand essentially how a sporting background can play into how your physique responds as a bodybuilder. And all of these things that we probably aren't that aware of at times. You can absolutely see a glimpse of someone's physique and go, that's what I want to look like. That is my goal. That's where I'm heading. And the thing is, no matter how much you think you know about someone else's journey, including their training, nutrition, whether they are assisted or not, etc., etc., we don't walk in anyone else's shoes. We don't see what everyone else is doing behind closed doors, as it were. And the thing is, if we are on this path to better ourselves, to continue progressing as a bodybuilder, really, we don't need to. And this is where it ties into when you are a competitive bodybuilder, what reigns supreme to continue progression is being able to either through your own essentially assessment, if you're self coaching, through your actual coach, if you have a coach, or or judges' feedback when you do compete as to how you can progress. Now, the thing is with progression, this is multifaceted. Bodybuilding is absolutely a lifestyle. It's something that is a day in, day out pursuit. And even when we bring it down to the basics, are you living as a bodybuilder? Are you applying yourself to all of the elements of bodybuilding, what I label as the foundations? Because all of these little things all equate to progression. When we look at the small percentages, are you on top of your supplementation? Are you hitting your macro targets or eating from your food plan? Are you training hard? Are you progressing your training? Are you essentially living like a bodybuilder? Is sleep intact? All of these things attribute to your progression as a bodybuilder. And when we look at essentially who inspires us, I feel like this is a really good opportunity to say, looking at other physiques, having intrigue, finding inspiration, that's a gift. When you compete against other people, other competitors, when you're on stage, when you look back at stage shots, absolutely you can have a look at the other competitors on stage and go, wow, I'd like to bring up X area. I would like to improve X area. What can I do to do that? Now, I do believe we do have a level of ownership within ourselves to essentially be able to explore this with a coach, or if you are self coaching with yourself, to actually go, these are the areas that I'd really like to focus on. Does this tie into my aspirations as a competitor? Now, when we look at whose physiques inspire us, again, this is multifaceted because personally for me, I very much feel inspiration from the heavily muscled categories. However, I am a bikini competitor. So the inspiration from who I call my muscle sisters, absolutely, seeing their physiques, being able to mix with different people in the space and have huge inspiration from that, what I draw it back to is the work ethic, what they do to gain that physique. But also for me, it's who is the person? Who is the person that is essentially wearing that armor? Who is the soul, the heart, the bodybuilding work ethic within? When I meet true bodybuilders, true advocates of the sport, people that explore passion, that love bodybuilding, that inspires me. If that's coupled with a physique that personally inspires me, I'm all in. I am all in. But what I also, for me personally, want to remind you guys of is that your physique is your armor. Your physique is your opportunity for progression. However, the mind, the soul, who are you? Who are you outside of bodybuilding, inside here? What do you give off? What do you get from this sport? What is your why? Are you inspiring people around you by being you? Because if I had given up at the start, when I wasn't placing, when I wasn't competitive, my physique, when I look back, I absolutely did not look like a bodybuilder. If I'd given up, I wouldn't be sitting here recording this podcast because I do not have the genetics. I do not have a sporting background, but I do have work ethic. I do have passion. And that's what I want to always remind you guys of is this is a journey. And being able to place inspiration rather than comparison will yield so much for you. Because if you can genuinely scroll through Instagram, be it bodybuilding shows, maybe expos, meet up with other bodybuilders, and actually find your people and go, wow, look at this person's physique. I'm going to continue working hard on my own physique to continue progression. It really does change the game because when we start to compare ourselves to others, and it's not that true inspiration, it's more of a comparison, or then coming into your own journey as self-doubt or critique, it can really be detrimental to yourself. It can make you feel less worthy, that there's no point. Are you ever going to be competitive? Is this the right path for you? Now, let's actually tie this into what are your expectations and are they realistic? Because that's super, super important. If we have unrealistic expectations, we're always going to be on the back foot. And my advice to anyone getting into bodybuilding is to essentially match what needs to happen for your bodybuilding journey into your lifestyle rather than trying to bite off more than you can chew, saying I can do X, Y, Z, and it's just not realistic. But then marrying that up with how do we gauge progression? What does that look like for you? And this is something to speak with your coach about. It's something that I speak to all my clients about from the word go. From the initial consultation, it is what does your lifestyle look like? What are your ambitions? What can we do together to create a plan that is going to help you succeed? Because the success is beyond your physique. It's also being able to adhere to your plan. It's being able to notice improvements in yourself. It's being able to be accountable. And then finding that within yourself to surround yourself with the things that are going to fuel your fire, the things that are going to motivate you as a bodybuilder. And when motivation isn't there, which absolutely is a thing, guys, we don't all just run on pure motivation. If we rely on that as our only source of, getting out there to get everything done that we need to do as bodybuilders, again, we're going to be on the back foot because there are days where it's harder than others. There's personal life circumstances, there's injuries, there's a multitude of things that can affect your bodybuilding tasks, your endeavor. So being able to find fuel to your fire that helps you to do what you need to do, even when you're not motivated, is super important. And that goes for support network as well. When we look at aspiring physiques, our ambitions, having yes men around you can leave you in a difficult spot. Because if you have people saying to you, yeah, 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 you can look like that, you can look like that person. One, how do they know that? Two, are they following you around each and every day to see exactly what you're doing? Three, you can't be someone else. You can't be someone else. Yes, there are physiques that look similar, right? So there's in each category, there's certain criteria. So we're going to get, the set of criteria, and we're going to have athletes that have similar attributes. However, you are a unique individual. You have your own background, your own genetics, and your own path. And this ties back into your own work ethic. What are you prepared to do to continue progression? And that goes through all phases. That's not just in a prep, guys, because your body is built as we move through the off season. It's not just prep, I'll go tunnel vision. If we're looking to progress and maximize progression, we are looking at that in all phases. It's not in my mind about dropping the ball in off season because it's your quote unquote life season. It's about attacking each and every day as a bodybuilder. It's about showing up. It's about being accountable. It's about passion to progress because you're the one that has to put the work in, guys. Now, if you're looking on Instagram or it shows or whatever platform we're thinking about here, you've got to be realistic with are you putting the work in or are you going, I want to look like that, but actually you're missing the beat on some of your bodybuilding tasks? Are you in the gym getting after it? Are you taking this seriously? And that is super important. And when I say about yes men, are you yes man in yourself? That's a question you need to ask. Are you finding ways to get out of doing what you need to do? Because if you are, that holds you back from your own progression. And you don't want to live in this area of delusion to following aspirations that just are not realistic with the work that you're putting in. Because it is, and this is not me saying that when something happens in your life, that bodybuilding has to be the priority. But I really do believe, guys, that even in the circumstance of, injuries, surgery, or things that take you away from the gym, we can still monitor our food. We can still take our supplements, hit a fluid target, do our best with sleep. Like, there is so much to this journey. There's so many fundamentals that we don't have to drop the ball on everything if one thing happens. If you are in a circumstance that wipes you out of most of the fundamentals, then we have to do our best. If you need a period of time to step back from bodybuilding, absolutely, my ethos, guys. Sometimes you're going to need to take a step back, but it's them being realistic with what your aspirations are. And that's important. I don't want to sit here and just say, yeah, you know, you can be the next Miss Olympia, you can be XYZ. We have to be able to own it within ourselves that we are pouring into this journey to get the progressions that we're after. In my opinion, we need to allow time. Yes, there are genetic freaks out there. There are people using a lot of gear, a lot of steroids, that perhaps the results come quicker. Maybe you do one season and you clean up the whole season, you win all of your shows. Absolutely, that happens. That can happen because you've got into bodybuilding, your physique is bang on for the criteria, and you've elevated to success very, very quickly. And that's fucking incredible. It really, really is. Not all of us need to have years and years and years. However, even in that example, when you do win multiple shows in your first season, there still needs to be a facilitation and a realistic approach to how do you progress? How does that continue for you to continue excelling in the sport if that is your desire, if that is your dream? And all of this is based around being honest, guys, and having open and honest conversations with you to ensure that we get these opportunities, listening to a podcast to go, am I really doing everything in my power here? If I am, okay, I'm facilitating progression. And whose physique inspires me? And that's a question to ask. If physiques inspire you, like I've mentioned, I'm absolutely inspired by some phenomenal physiques and some phenomenal people. Are you still looking at your own journey, your own growth, your own progression, and actually going, could I be inspiring myself? Where did I start this journey? How did I look if you've done multiple seasons? In my first season, am I progressing? How can I be better? What do I need to do? What areas do I need to work on? And that's super important, guys. Because as I say, you are doing the work. You're the one doing it. Yes, we can have a coach, unless you do self coach like myself. However, you're the one doing it. You're the one putting the work in. If you need guidance, if you need support, if you need more information into the minutia, the the ethos, what is training hard? How can I learn? How can I be better? Then speak to your coach. Speak to bodybuilders that you know in the space that are doing well, that are progressing their physique. Find people that can help you be a better bodybuilder. But just be careful, because we can surround ourselves with people that will tell us, yeah, you can do this, you can do that. But we need to be careful that they know what they're talking about. And we want to surround ourselves with the honest people that help us progress. And then in turn, we can inspire each other. We can work together. We can rise together, guys. We absolutely can. But this is your journey. And today, this is your reminder. You are you. If you are doing everything in your power to progress, we allow the path to unfold. The fuel within, the passion, that's your choice. That's you. If you are bodybuilding through and through, if you want to progress, if you want to continue this path, it really is you versus you. And yes, on stage we compete against other competitors, but when you're on that stage knowing you've done everything in your power to progress, let me tell you, it hits different. Just to add into this bonus episode, guys, if you get chance and you are on Instagram, if you could go over to Beyond the Stage, which is an Instagram page, and vote for the podcast, the UK podcast of the year, as the Beyond Condition podcast, that would be incredible. I would absolutely love to continue exposing the podcast to getting more ears, of course. And thank you if you've already voted, and thank you if you then go and vote.